Now we're banging 80K, 90K, 100K deals because of the advancement in the game.
It's possible if you practice and you learn the business and you get the skills.
Hope is not a strategy. It doesn't work that way. It took me 14 months to do my first deal.
Most people won't last 14 months.
Would you make it 14 months fighting for that win?
From East LA to the hills of Rancho Cucamonga, I'm gonna show you how I went from being broke to being rich.
Do you think that it's a lot more difficult now to wholesale than it was back in 2003? Or do you think it's just as good? I mean, what's your opinion about that?
Yeah, it's just as good. It does go in market cycles. Like there is periods of time where it gets easier or a little bit harder. Like right now it's a little bit harder, but it's starting to get a little bit easier. And we could talk about that. But like, look, the amount of information, data, resources, technology, artificial intelligence, partnerships with guys like you, and the spreads are much bigger now. Yeah. You were telling me offline right before we started this, you did a couple deals. You made 105,000 here, 103,000 here, 130,000 here. Those spreads were unheard of back then. My first one was 40K, but then every one after that was like 5 and 10K. Now we're banging 80K, 90K, 100K deals because of the advancement in the game.
Well, let me stroke our egos real quick for a second. You know, not everybody can do that though. Like our experience, you know, me as an entrepreneur, you as a freaking killer in the game, like not everybody can do that. So I want everybody to understand that. Like there's a certain level of sophistication that we have, and I don't do 20 deals like that a month. It's like one a month, you know, but it's possible if you practice and you learn the business and you get the skills. So people should know that.
Sure.
Yes, you and I are a little different, especially you. You've been doing this for a long time and you're at a way higher level than most people in real estate, I would say. You're like a 1%er of people in the business.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a wholesaler. I'm not a rehabber. I'm not a developer. I'm not a landlord. I'm a real estate expert.
Correct.
And my first year in the business, it took me 14 months to do my first deal. Like, I don't think people get just how fucking difficult it is.
Yes.
I didn't have a mentor for 9 of those months. I quit for a couple months, and then I finally found somebody that can show me what to do. And I let my ego down, and I like asked for help, and I listened properly for the first time.
Tell him, Cody.
I did all the things that like now, like it's like the Cody back then was hard-headed and thought he could figure it out on his own and prideful and all these things. And so people don't realize the sacrifice that went into it. Would you, listening to this, if you have a goal to like do your first wholesale deal, would you make it 14 months? Fighting for that win?
Most people won't last 14 months.
No.
And one thing that I've realized, and I think you can confirm this, is you got to learn how to humble yourself. You got to learn how to take a beating. You have to be tough mentally, emotionally. You got to be able to get dragged through the mud and like pick yourself up and be okay with it.
Winners in this game have a bounce back spirit, for sure. It is a core ingredient that's necessary. But more importantly, I could have fast tracked all of that. It didn't take that amount of suffering. The speed at which I moved, way too slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
People don't understand how fast you got to move. You want to win, you got to go fast. And how you're able to cut the learning curve down is just find a fucking mentor. Like literally shack up with somebody that's killing it. Like if I had the ability to get proximity to you, when I first started, it probably would take me 1 month, 2 months to get a deal. It wouldn't take me 14 months. But I was such an idiot that I was trying to do it on my own. Like, what kind of strategy is that?
Yeah.
Hope is not a strategy, right? It doesn't work that way. You get with Michael, you're going to shortcut all of that and get right at it. And even if I had to work for you for free or cut you a check to get proximity to you, it would be so much more worth it than the pain I went through trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I've taught a few people how to wholesale. You know, I've taught a few people that already were wholesaling how to be more business oriented and structure. And now somebody like me that, you know, I did $1 million last year in real estate. That was the first year that I cracked $1 million. Now I want to learn from people like you. I want to learn from people like, you know, one of my business coaches, Brandon Dawson. I want to learn from Sean Terry, who's one of my real estate coaches. I want to learn from people that are doing 10, 15, 25, $50 million a year, you know? So that's what people have to realize. Start at your level, right? And then level up.